Hi guys, welcome back for another video. I got my lockdown haircut, so we're good to go. Obviously, this time Premier League football gets to carry on. Obviously, last time we had a massive break on our way to lifting that elusive title. This time we carry on. Obviously, as the testing is up to scratch now for elite football at least to continue. Obviously, grassroots football is not quite so lucky, which I'm majorly involved in, which is a great shame. Having only really just got going again since the last lockdown. So yeah, hopefully that's only for 4 weeks. Possibly could be to the end of the year. Hopefully not beyond that. We shall wait and see. But yeah, obviously back to the Reds. A few games have passed, thick and fast games. Champions League is sort of every week rather than every other. So it's thick and fast matches. I'll start with the game, the longest to go, which was Ajax away. Really dreadful game. The opening match, probably against the third best team in the group. I know they're the second seeds, but in terms of the quality and then the performance based on last season, Ajax are the third best team in this group. Obviously away from home, first game. Main thing is to not lose. Obviously we had a few injuries at the back, but obviously Ajax 0, Liverpool 1. Tagliafico, crazy own goal. Not much else to say. The game was dreadful. We were awful. I saw some Liverpool fans saying that was a great performance. It wasn't a great performance. It was a great result. There's a difference. So, yeah, the performance was shocking. We would not have scored all night long without that own goal. It would have been 0-0, which again wouldn't have been a bad result. But yeah, 1-0 away from Ajax to Ajax is a great start to the group stage in the Champions League. Ajax are no mugs at all, but yeah. Again, you'd think now Ajax have lost all their major players from the last couple of the years. Ziyech, De Jong, De Ligt. Many more have moved on as well. So there's not many left there now. They're kind of going through that whole rebuilding thing. Obviously, Van der Beek left as well this summer. So yeah, a 1-0 win. Not much else to talk about there. Back in the league after that at home to Sheffield United. And the great news was Alisson was back in goal, which without Van Dijk was huge. Absolutely huge. I mean, Van Dijk is a blow, but to not have both of them, that's the difference between winning the league or not. So Alisson back was fantastic. Adrian is terrible. But it didn't really go to plan either. We went 1-0 down. Fabinho, very harsh to give away a penalty right on the edge of the box. For me, it wasn't even a foul. For me, it was then probably just outside the box. So for it to be a foul and a penalty, I thought was a bit harsh. But 1-0 down, plenty of time left to get back in the game, which we did. Henderson, a great cross in. Mane, good save from the goalie, but pushed it straight out to Bobby, who tapped it in for the equaliser. And then Mane in the second half crossed it in. Jota header, who has been a revelation, isn't he, Diogo Jota, for the winner, for 2-1 win. So that's not the last time I'll talk about Jota, but for me, we're looking at someone really pushing for a starting place. We looked at the formation. You had Firmino in the 10, with Jota joining Salah and Mane in the front three. Potentially, that's something we could look at, especially at home against the lower sides that are gonna defend. Do you need three in midfield workhorses, or could you get away with two with an extra attacker? I think that's a really good option as well. So yeah, that was great. Any result in the Premier League is good. I thought the performance was good as well. So a 2-1 win over Sheffield United, who aren't the same as last year, have been struggling down the bottom end of the table. So yeah, Jota, great start to his Anfield career, getting the winning goal in that one. Moving on swiftly, we had Midtjylland, or however you say it, in the Champions League the following week, midweek. It was a game where Klopp decided to rotate. He played Origi, Minamino from the start, and it was awful. Honestly, half-time, at half-time, he must have been shaking his head. How many chances does he give these people that want more minutes, want more time in the bigger games? There's your chance, guys, at home to the Danish champions, and you can't score a goal. It's not good enough. Absolutely shocking. So, Origi, for me, that's it. Jota's better than him. Minamino, I'm still yet to see what we brought him in for. I know he wasn't expensive, but again, Jota's better than him. Shaqiri's better than him. I think those two are in a bit of trouble, to be honest with you, after that last performance. But subs were made at half-time. Shaqiri Played the ball to Trent, who played the ball across to Jota for a tap-in for 1-0, which was great. Jota again. And yeah, Trent again kind of made the next attack, played the ball through to Salah, who won a penalty, which was basically the last kick of the game, for a 2-0 win. So yeah, not pretty, not great, but a 2-0 home win in the Champions League, 6 points out of 6. Good stuff. You can't really complain too much. Obviously, the only black mark on that night was Fabinho, who really was our best Van Dijk replacement. A similar mould of player, nice and calm on the ball, picked up an injury. Looks like he's going to be out until, at least after the next international break, which is a bit of a blow. So hopefully he's not out for too long, but I think he might be coming back within the next, say, 6 weeks or so. Hopefully quicker than that, maybe after the next international break, so we'll see. But that gives us obviously a really horrible situation in the centre of defence. We've got obviously Gomez, who's been there anyway, but he's not quite the same player without Van Dijk next to him. Matip, he's made of cheese. How he can be injured? He came back for one game in the derby, and then because he's played a game, he's now out for the next 2 or 3 weeks. He's a complete waste of time. So it's been up to young Reece Williams and Nat Phillips basically to fill the void. So as Phillips isn't registered for the Champions League, he's been playing in the league match, which I'll get onto in a minute. And obviously Williams stepped in for the Ajax game and most likely tonight, which I'll get onto again in a moment. So yeah, as I say, Origi and Minamino, I think. Minamino more so because he's newer. I think Origi will probably be moved on in the summer. Minamino is going to find minutes hard to come by now that Shaqiri has stepped up a bit and actually started to play quite well again and found some form and seems to have banished his injuries. I think Klopp mentioned he had a calf problem, which was why he wasn't so involved in the running at the end of the last season. But it's good to see him back. He's another player that you can play in the 10 as well as wide, so a good option. But yeah, obviously on to the next game. We hosted West Ham. Another fairly close game, 2-1 win. Again, similar to the Sheffield United game, went 1-0 down. Terrible clearance from Gomez. No pressure on the ball from Trent for the cross. Gomez headed it straight to Fornals, who finished quite well in the corner past Alisson for a 1-0 lead. And in the air, once you give these teams a 1-0 lead at Anfield, they're going to protect it with their lives. We turned this one round, so we're now 63 games unbeaten at Anfield, which is brilliant. That's over 3 seasons. But yeah, we had to work for it, this one. Salah won a penalty, which some people say he went down easily, but he gets kicked in the foot. It's a foul. It's a penalty. It might be soft, but, how many times do we see it where you get kicked and you don't go down? Do you get the penalty? No. So who's winning? It's difficult, isn't it? If you get kicked in the foot and you stand up, you're not getting a penalty. If you get kicked in the foot and you go to ground, you get one. Those 2 points make the difference come the end of the season. So for me, he did the right thing. And yeah, it was a really, really, really long slog in that second half. Disallowed goal as well, but Shaqiri, great through ball, unreal. De Bruyne-esque, through to Jota, who used his pace, beautiful finish, came on for Bobby, who did nothing again. And yeah, Jota getting his 3rd goal in 3 games. Absolutely brilliant. So yeah, cannot complain. He's absolutely brilliant. He's looking superb. I can see exactly why we brought him in. He's exactly the type of player Liverpool and Klopp like. He's high press, high energy. He's passionate, he's ambitious. He wants to get on the ball. He's fast. Everything about him suits our game. And for me, he's better than Firmino and should be playing ahead of him in the big games now. You've got an option with that front three. You could play Jota through the middle as a false 9 with Mane left, Salah right. You could play Salah through the middle with Mane left and Jota right, or Jota left and Mane right. You've got options there. All 3 of them can play across that front 3. So for me, Jota deserves to start now. He's come on as a sub a couple of times and scored the winning goal. I don't really know what else he's meant to do to get a starting place. Obviously, he's only 23. Our front 3 are in their late 20s, so plenty of time to bide his time. But for me, yeah, he should start over Firmino, and maybe Firmino should then be the person coming on as a sub and see what he can do. He needs to work his way back in a team and say, hang on a minute, boss. All right, I've been dropped. I know I haven't really been the best for 18 months to 2 years. I really need to get my head down and start scoring some goals because it's not been good enough. Honestly, it's not been good enough at all. So he needs to come back stronger. So I'm looking forward to seeing Jota in the team a little bit more as we go forward. Which basically, could be tonight. We're away to Atalanta, the trickiest game, I would say, out of the 6 fixtures in the Champions League group stage. Italy's never been a happy hunting ground for us in the past. Games at Napoli, we've struggled before. So Atalanta are a good team. They might not have any world-class superstars, but as a team, they are very, very good. They score. I think they said they've scored the record amount of goals in a Serie A league campaign last season. I think they beat Valencia 8-4 in the last 16 last season in the Champions League, and they got knocked out 2-1 against PSG in the quarterfinals, which I think was a one-off game, wasn't it? So very, very unlucky. They only lost to the runners-up. They're a very good side. It's going to be a really difficult game. In terms of team, you're thinking Alisson's going to be in goal, obviously. Robertson and Trent would carry on at fullback. Gomez will be in there. Depending on the question mark is who's playing alongside him. We know Fabinho's out. We know Phillips isn't registered for the Champions League, so it's going to be Matip or Williams. Matip, does he go straight in away to Atalanta? He's back in training, potentially. It's a tricky one. Do you chuck in a half-fit Matip, or do you chuck in a Williams who's been playing in non-league football last season? It's difficult. It's a difficult one. So I don't really know. For me, if Matip's fit, you put him in because he's experienced. He might not have to run around too much. It's going to be a fairly chess kind of game, I think, a fairly close one. So I'd put Matip in with Henderson just in front to cover that back four. He's really good as a CDM, especially without Fabinho in that team. Midfield, you've got options. I mean, you would expect Wijnaldum to start. Thiago, I think again he's back in training, but I can't see him coming back into this game. You've got Shaqiri, who's played well in the central three. You've got James Milner, who's reliable. It could be one of those two. Personally, I think Shaqiri's probably going to be more of a bench player, coming off the bench if we need to create something. I think he'll most likely start with Milner, Henderson and Wijnaldum in midfield. And then up front, the front three, that's always the front three, is now actually under, it might not necessarily be what you expect, not just for rotation, but in terms of choice for the best options. So, personally, I would love to see a Mane, Jota, Salah front three. I don't think he will. I think it will be Firmino up front. I think it will be Mane on the left and Salah on the right. And I think Jota will again be an impact sub, possibly with Shaqiri later on if we need to score. Which I think is harsh. If it was me, Jota would be starting this game, whether that's left, up front or on the right. So we'll see. It's going to be a difficult game. But if we get a result tonight, even if it's a draw, that's 7 out of 9 points. We've then got Midtjylland away and Ajax at home, and Atalanta at home. You would think we would be able to get 5 points out of that minimum, really, to qualify. So yeah, I'm pretty confident. If we lose tonight, it could happen. It's not the end of the world. As I said, we've got the return game at Anfield against them, which I can't see us losing at home to Atalanta. I can't see us not getting a win away to Midtjylland, and I can't see us not winning at home to Ajax either. So yeah, anything tonight is going to be a bonus. The quicker we qualify out of our Champions League group, the quicker we can rest players in it and concentrate on this really heavy schedule in the league. Obviously, matches coming up. We've got Manchester City on Sunday as well. So yeah, I mean, obviously in terms of teams, it's going to be purely based on any injuries tonight, who plays, who doesn't, who plays minutes, who needs minutes. But obviously away to City is a huge game. They're only 2 points behind us if they win their game in hand. So yeah, I mean, obviously the Premier League's been a bit crazy, isn't it, at the start of the season? You look at the league table now, and it's not what you would expect, is it? You've got Southampton up there, you've got Wolves up there, you've got Everton up there, Leicester obviously second now, Tottenham up there in third as well. So it's really, really tight. But yeah, I'm still looking at that gap between us and City. There's no one else I'm looking at, to be honest with you, at the moment in terms of heavy title contenders. I mean, Leicester look good, but are they going to win the league? I don't think so. Tottenham look all right. Now and again, they drop a strange result. I know we have as well, but will they sustain that over a league season? I'm not sure. I think it's between Liverpool and Man City again. Even without Van Dijk, I don't think Man City are what they were before. They don't really have a striker that can stay fit or in any form. And they've got a fairly new defence as well. You know, they've got Ake, they've got Ruben Dias, they've got Laporte that doesn't seem to be able to get, you know, a solid run in the team either. Yeah, he's still niggling injuries and things like that. You know, Mendy and Walker, are they as good as they once were? I'm not so sure as well. I know Walker got the winner at the weekend and Mendy has struggled with injury. So if they can get some consistency, then yes. But yeah, I mean, this game is, although not going to decide the league title at all. Yeah, anyway, obviously come the end of the season it might have done. But, you know, if you lose, yeah, okay, you know, you're going to be, 1 point behind them or something. So there's a long way to go. It's very early on in the season. But, yeah, again, you'd take a draw at the Etihad, wouldn't you? A win would be great. But, yeah, I think if we can avoid a loss, we're looking good to at least retain the title. If we get through the Christmas period like we did last year, just relentless winning. Once you get to kind of Feb, March time, if you've got, you know, a little lead, you can kind of manage it a bit. Obviously, the Champions League stops over that period as well. So you purely focus on the league. We're out the Carabao Cup. FA Cup doesn't start till Jan, which we won't take seriously anyway. So, yeah, fingers crossed. We'll get a result tonight. We'll get a result on Sunday. Whether that's 2 draws, that will do me nicely. And yeah, we're slowly approaching the January transfer window, aren't we? It's strange because obviously normally the transfer window in the summer, you know, finishes in the start of September. This time it finally finished kind of mid-October, so it's a lot less time in between the windows. Clearly we need to do some business. If we do not sign a centre-back, we only have ourselves to blame, don't we? I mean, it was already dodgy going into the season with Gomez, Matip and Van Dijk, with Fabinho potentially coming in as a fourth option. You know, we've now got Fabinho will be back by Jan, obviously. Matip is going to be in and out. Gomez hasn't got the greatest injury record either, and Van Dijk we know is out for the season. So, you know, Phillips will probably move on if we bring one in. Williams, I think, needs to step back down to the under-23s. So, yeah, we need a centre-back, don't we? We needed one anyway. If Van Dijk wasn't injured to play alongside him, I don't think Gomez and Matip are our first choice defenders for a top team. You get away with it because they're surrounded by world-class players, but for me, we need an Upamecano, a Koulibaly, someone like that, depending on if you want experience now or more potential with a younger player. So I'd like to see us bring in a centre-back. Personally, I still think we need a striker. I think Origi needs to go. I think Jota can be an option on the wings, and then we need a striker really to score some goals through the middle. I think Firmino is a good 10 or a decent option off the bench for a false 9. Jota really is more of a winger option with Salah and Mane rotation. I think we need a number 9, as in a proper number 9 that's going to score some goals. Don't have to break the bank, but there's players out there. I know Erling Haaland is available either in the summer or next summer. I don't think he's going to want to stay at Dortmund for too long because he's not going to win anything at all with Bayern Munich, the juggernaut they are. So yeah, they're the 2 main positions I think that we need to strengthen. I mean, fullbacks still, without Robertson and Trent, there's no one there. Smikas and Nico Williams are not that level. So potentially a fullback that could play left back and right back would be ideal. Whether this Smikas guy's going to get some games and we could bring in another right back, I don't know. We'll wait and see. But yeah, well, hopefully see what happens. Don't hold your breath though. Klopp's very, very stubborn. He likes to push it to the absolute limit. We've seen that before. He kept Karius a season too long. He kept Alberto Moreno a season too long, and ended up playing Milner at left back for a whole season. So Milner's another one that will most likely, I think he's got one more season after this one. He's getting a bit old. He's picking up yellow cards. So maybe a midfielder, but fingers crossed Thiago comes back to fitness soon and can start getting a run in the team because we've not yet seen the best of him either. So yeah, fingers crossed for tonight. Fingers crossed for Sunday, and I'll catch you soon. Take care, guys.